Welcome to a new episode of How Creators Make Money because no money, no funny. Today we dive into private equity firms and how they can kill creators or be helpful for them as well. Give you some examples. We also talk about how nostalgia sells, like how this YouTuber Quinton Reviews is making $3 million deep diving into Nickelodeon niches, and a philosophical discussion about how creators might be the next world leader. So stay tuned.
Grace, do you know that PE firms are buying creators right now?
No, tell me more about PE firms, private equity firms.
Yeah, so PE stands for private equity. I know we've had an episode around VC and like venture capital. Do you know the difference between the two?
No, I don't. Please break it down for me.
Yeah, so VC, right, which I think both you and I are more familiar with, is typically when you find a creator, or no, not necessarily a creator, an entrepreneur, right? When they're coming up, you dump some money in. It's very like hands offish. Maybe you will make an introduction for you. Maybe you might help push something across the line. But for the most part, it's like entrepreneur, you do your thing, here's some capital. Hopefully, you turn it into a $1 billion unicorn or something one day, right? Venture capital, at least from the research that I've seen, they're coming in, taking over the majority stake of a business or even just buying it completely outright so they own the whole thing, and then they're bringing in their own operators to actually run the business. And I didn't know that there was a difference. I just knew that there was two names of PE versus VC. But yeah, that's like, at least from my understanding, the differences between PE and VC. And apparently now PE, the private equity world, is moving into the creator economy, specifically buying out creators.
Oh, interesting. So basically, the PE firm owns everything, or like the majority of everything, versus firm, it's like capital to help the creator make more money and kickstart. But it's ultimately creator's decision. But if you're bought up by a private equity firm, then they're basically taking over your whole company.
Yeah, exactly. And like, again, that's in like the broader sense of things, right? So again, typically VC is more hands-off approach of like, hey, you do your thing. If you need my help, you give me a call. Hopefully I can help you with that deal or whatever it may be to help you grow your business. Private equity, again, it seems like is more along the lines of, hey, either I'll buy you outright or I'll buy a portion of you. It is almost always a majority stake in the company, and majority stake meaning at least 51% of a company. So that just means that they can typically outvote you for whatever decisions that they want to make in the future, whether it's right like raising more money, whether it's to sell, whether it's to hire this person or whatever it may be. Technically they would be owning the majority stake of a business to go and make those decisions compared to
Oh,
VC.
oh wow. And that's like different than acquiring the creator, because if you acquire it, then you make 100%. But there's like three different spectrums. Like the first one
I
is
mean,
like
some
capital.
some
Yeah.
pages are like some pages and creators are being acquired as well, like
Oh.
by PE firms.
Oh, interesting. So PE firms can also take up like 51% or 100% of the company, which is the same thing as acquiring someone and having all the ownership.
Yeah, exactly. But they'll like likely still keep the creator on, right? Because the brand is tied to their face or whatever it may be. So they can still run creative. But in terms of business decisions and like optimizing profits and providing shareholder value, so to say, they're the ultimate decision maker and stuff like this.
Interesting. So I assume this is like for a creator who wants to just focus on creation and not touch the business side at all and completely delegate that to someone else? Or what makes a creator want to take on a PE firm buying them out?
Yeah, I mean, again, from my research, that's what it seems to be like. Or it seems to be like two cases. One, exactly what you're talking about, right? Like a creator is there to create, right? Whether it's creating the video, being the producer in the background, the creative director in the background, whatever it may be. They don't want to deal with the hiring, the invoices, the brand deals, and all those sort of things, right? So that is sometimes when a PE firm will come in and buy out a piece of the business or buy out the whole business outright, keep the creator on board, be like, hey, you keep doing this thing, but instead of equity in the business, we just keep giving you a fat salary or whatever it may be, right? The other route is when they probably, as a creator, they just want to get out, right? So we've seen this company called, like, are you familiar with Blackstone?
I not really actually. I've heard of them. I think I know someone who works there, but tell me more about Blackstone.
So there's Blackstone and BlackRock. I believe both are like PE firms. They're kind of like part of this whole narrative right now around PE where it's getting a really bad negative connotation. But this media company, Candle Media, which is backed by Blackstone, they bought Cocomelon and Blippi, which, do you know what those two were?
No.
So Cocomelon and Blippi, they mainly started on YouTube. I believe they've moved on to other platforms as well, but like they're typically on YouTube. You can think of them as like our age, or like the new generation's age of Blues Clues, um,
Oh.
like those types of medias for kids, right?
Mm.
So if you had to guess in your best bet how much they acquired Moonbug Entertainment, which that's what owns Cocomelon and Blippi and companies like, or creators like that. How much do you think that they got paid for, again, a creator business or creator media company, if you want to call it that?
It's like equivalent like a TV show like Blue's Clues that was like a cultural movement essentially. Wait, is Cocomelon
Yes.
like what kind of shit like Peppa Pig or like
Every kids,
oh
every
my
kid in the world
god.
knows these things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they're huge. Like Blippi goes on tour. Like it's crazy.
Blippi. Let me Google them. Blippi. Okay. I'm not a kid anymore, so I don't know. But as a kid, these are like the future taxpayers and the skibbity gen alpha kids. I would say like 69 billion. I don't know. I think that's a lot.
So they got acquired for almost $3 billion,
Oh
which is
wow.
insane, right?
Mhm.
When you think about it, right? They also bought ATTN, which is like a short form native like business storytelling company, for 100 million. So you're starting to see these companies swoop in and start buying these things, likely because of the cash flow for it, and just trying to figure out like the optimal way to run the business of a creator, right? Because most of the times these businesses are just run by a creator, which they're not the NBA from Harvard that's just trying to optimize every single thing for any penny, and things like that. So it's been interesting to kind of dive into this space, because this one video popped up on my feed, which was, your favorite YouTube channel is, like, quotes, probably owned by private equity. And they started diving into like Dude Perfect, Fern, all these like big channels that I paid attention to that I didn't even realize were owned by private equity in some way, shape, or form.
Oh wow. Wait, I had a PE firm reach out to me to acquire design buddies. So this is what they do. I didn't do that much research. I'm just like, okay, what is hierarchy? I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I just like ignored it. But I oh well, I will say no to them, I guess. Interesting, interesting. That makes a lot of sense now. So what kind of other examples of creators are required? Like Dude Perfect is one, and it's like I feel like it's like they kind of make it. They don't really like make it a public thing, right? Because I feel like people would think of them differently if they know
I
that
think it's like
like
more of a, if you know, you know, right? Like it doesn't break into mainstream media, but if you look for those articles, or if you know where to look, you can kind of find them. So like Dude Perfect, Donut Media, Vertasium, Fireship, like these are all kind of owned, whether largely or in a piece of it owned by PE in some way, shape, or form. And I think the biggest worry is what happens when you suck all of the money, or you suck a channel for all of the money that it has, right? We've seen the negative happen with PE in the past. Like, I think there's literally a lawsuit out there where this PE firm bought a hospital and they were just running it bare bones, because what they wanted to actually do is just sell the land on it and not actually the hospital. Like they could care less about the hospital. The land was what was valuable for it. And then like the pandemic happened and they wanted the state wanted to use the hospital for like beds, right, to take care of people, and the company was like, "We'll lease it to you for $1 million a month or something crazy like that." And people were like, "What?" And so I don't even think it got used. So then, like, that started actually impacting like people's health and people's lives. We've also seen, right, the stories of how PE are apparently buying out all the houses. That's why like our generation can't buy houses and housing prices just keep going up. The other thing with PE, like the biggest thing for me right now is Southwest Airlines just got bought over or like has like an activist investor from a PE firm, and they've just like gone completely downhill over the past like year and a half, literally just getting rid of all brand loyalty that they've gone because they're just trying to figure out how to get as much money out of these business models. Like the model of PE firms is actually kind of ridiculous if you dive into it, which I've been watching some videos. And it's like kind of insane when done literally just for the purpose of making money.
Damn, that's like more invasive than like VC, like way more. Is that why Southwest Airlines no longer lets you bring a free check-in bag?
Yes.
So,
So like no check-in bags. They're
oh,
changing their like the whole seating policy where now you have assigned seats so that they can start charging for
oh,
seats. Like all of that started because this
yeah.
one guy like bought up all of the board seats or something like that, or the majority of the board seats or whatever.
Are there any examples of PE firms completely destroying companies?
Yeah, so like that's kind of like the business model. Like so, like Toys R Us. That's kind of like the business model that's become famous over the past, I would say, like 2 or 3 years. And when you break it down, it actually is kind of crazy how they do it. So I'm gonna try to explain it as I could find it in this video, and I'm gonna explain it terribly. So everyone, please do your own research. I'm gonna try and do the best here. But let's say, right, a PE firm buys a company for $100 million, right? That they then, instead of buying it for $100 million, they will put down like 20 million, let's call it that, and then they will load the rest of that 80 million as debt onto the business's books. So let's just say I'm a PE firm, right? I want to buy Design Buddies. I value Design Buddies is valued at 100 million, right? Let's just say you have zero debt on Design Buddies. You just want to get out. And so this company offers you, Grace, $100 million to buy Design Buddies. The PE firm only puts up 20 million. They take 80 million from the bank, but instead of putting it on the firm's balance sheet, they put all of that debt on Design Buddies' balance sheet.
Oh. So we have interest. Pay.
Not even interest. They don't have any risk. The risk is on Design
Oh.
Buddies. So this is when it gets crazy. So the PE firm has already raised money, right? And the same way that a VC firm raises money, right, to go out and buy and spend other people's cash. So they're collecting a 2% fee on the money that they raise from other investors to go out and buy other businesses, as well as I believe it's like a 20% carry of whatever profits that that business makes. And so they're doing all of this while only risking, again, 20% of their money on this business. They're extracting and selling themselves fat salaries, typically, and they can run your business dry. Your Design Buddies business can go bankrupt, right? They could care less because they've already extracted all the money that they needed to and made themselves whole
Wow.
because all of the debt is on Design Buddies. It's not on the PE firm. So I explained that terribly. Go out and like do your own research, but like that's the gist of how it works. It's just literally money engineering at its finest.
Damn, that is intense. Yeah, wait, let me show you the email thread I got from a PE firm wanting to acquire Design Buddies.
Was
They
it like, did they give you an offer?
let me pull it up. I think they want to hop on the call for the offering because I remember they followed like 4 times. I'm just like, okay, how much would you buy us for? And he was like, let's hop on the call. I was just like, I don't feel like it. I forgot what's from TV
I
firm.
feel like you should take the call just to see what they would offer.
Yeah, I should do that. Oh, offer to purchase design buddies. So, okay. So this dude is from meridianfundingadvisors.co. I've never heard of them. And he says, "Hey Grace, we have a private equity firm in our network who is very interested in acquiring design buddies. Given their mandate, this opportunity is a very strong fit. Can we set up a time to discuss this opportunity?" And then he's just like followed like 4 times, and I'm just like, "Hi, thanks for following up. How much money are they offering?" And he was like, "Hi, valuation depends on a variety of factors. However, it's difficult to provide specifics without more information to focus on factors such as margins, recent growth, capital structure, and risk. I can provide a range once we gather additional details. Please schedule a call if interested in discussing further." And I'm just like, that's like a lot of information to give them. So I was just like, it's okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see like what they would value at, right?
Same. But then I had to like pull all this information that like giving this like stranger, I don't know what to do with it. But at the
Yeah,
same
but
time,
it's
I might
also
just go
like
for the
what
vibes.
what would they do with it? You know what I mean? Like
That's true.
realistically, if your financials got leaked, like I don't think that's the end of the world, so to
Yeah,
say.
I don't think it is. Um, but I've been lately trying to not tell people about our financials because I remember like we made a shit ton of money, and then I started getting a lot of people reaching out to me for favors and advice, and I became like really tired of like answering their questions. Them just like trying to pick my brain. So now I'm just like I can't, I don't want to like tell people about our financial situation anymore. I know it was like a really good hook for like creator economy stuff, and it definitely got me a lot of clout and speaking engagements. But at the same time, the repercussions of that is something I regret. Not regret, but just feel like I shouldn't expose it that hard because it, I don't know, it just like made it seem, it's just people just kind of like want to ask me so many questions. Like I like really tired of it. Uh,
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that comes with anything that goes viral. You know what I mean? Obviously income is a big one where people start asking for favors or asking for advice, things of that nature. I think it all comes down to, right, being able to kind of on one of our previous conversations of figuring out how to say no, right? The same way that you have to figure out how to exit a networking conversation when you know it's not really helping you at all. Like, I think both you and I, we love helping people, but at the same time, we have to tell ourselves when to say no to protect ourselves, our time,
mhm.
realistically, right? Because I know my DMs get flooded sometimes. I'm sure yours probably do too when something goes viral. And it's like, yo, I appreciate you. I know that your attention is what gives me the ability to do what I do, but I can't say yes and jump on a 30-minute call for you to pick my brain to every single person in this world. You know? So like I get it. I get it. Um, but yeah, no, it's a I really wonder what they would have valued you at and like what would the offer have been.
I might just take it on for the vibes. Like that's how I think about taking on VC money. I might just like take it on for the plot, you know. I don't know. And just see what happens. Oh, I feel
How do
like
you go about
everything.
making decisions like that? Because I feel like that's a big decision in terms of like how it could impact the business overall.
Oh man, where I stand on this is like I know my
Are you
co-founders.
literally like, why not? Is that your mindset?
Um, that's kind of how my brain works, but I feel like it's kind of dangerous game to play. So I was reflecting on this a bit lately too, because my co-founders, they really want VC funding. Number one, more capital could help us hire more people to work faster. Number two, like honestly, like the clout, which I don't think is a good reason to. But at the same time, we're all human, we're all young, we like clout, yummy clout. Um, I feel like there's a both like a ego reason and a strategic reason behind it. And I also feel like a lot of VCs like it when founders are super autistic and um build their like really locked in on their startup. And I feel like we do like good reason tis. and I could work harder on the Tiz side, but I feel like my team, they're pretty like locked in, and I could balance them out with the Riz side. That's what they told me. Um, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that I have more Riz than them, but that's how like the balance is like. Um, but I feel like everything I do helps design buddies in some way. Like I know I talk about going on a lot of side quests, like acting, modeling content, but that's how people find design buddies. Like everything I do feeds into growing design buddies. So I guess that means I am very tiz and growing this design buddies thing. It doesn't look like on paper, like day to day, but it does make sense. Like investors love that stuff actually. Like me doing a lot of random stuff and it helps design buddy because it does help. I do want to grow design buddies and like around socials and stuff. And all the random side quests I do help that. So I know before I'm just like I don't want to sacrifice anything I do for design buddies. Um but at the same time, I'm like maybe it does make sense. Maybe I just like love design buddies. So I don't know. We're just like just talking and seeing what happens and no papers have been signed yet. And I feel like with big decisions, I like this. I want to like find out all the pros and cons, and then think about it. Ask people who've been through it too, because raising VC fund is a huge decision. Changes the whole rest of the business. I can't just like vibe and like decide I'll do it. Like moving to SF or Cupertino was just like I just like vibed and then decided to move up 10 days later. Um, But for this one, I was like, this baby I've been growing up. I need to think about it. Just like quitting my job. Like I gave myself 3 weeks. But this one I've been thinking for months, like the VC when design buddy for months. And I know it would change dynamics of our community a lot, I think. But if I take VC money, I wouldn't like make a social media post about it. I'll just like do it secretly. Just because I know a lot of designers like it's a brand sentiment is a thing. Designers are very interesting. They're very sensitive. They're very empathetic, and they believe in. Um, they kind of everyone thinks Design Buddy is a nonprofit actually, um, and they got really mad when ADP List, who people see as a competitor, took VC money. They think they're like somehow like not inclusive, whatever anymore. And I've seen how they behave on LinkedIn. So, if I ever took VC money, I would never make it public. I would never tell anybody. I'll just be on the down low because I know it'll ruin our
Interesting.
brand. Yeah. So I don't know.
Interesting. And I know like I've got some decisions that I'm making in the back of my head as well. Partly the reason why I'm doing some research into the PE world right now too. But yeah, that's crazy that they see you as a potential nonprofit, which I guess makes sense, right? Because you kind of give a lot back to the community and things of that nature. I feel like I would have a very similar mindset if I were to take VC, PE, whatever money you want to call it, right? I don't know if I would want to like prance it around as most founders do.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
I I think that the attention that gets you isn't the right attention that you want, in my opinion.
What kind of attention do you think that gets you?
I think there's a specific game if you're going that route, which if you want to play that game, then you play that game, right? And I think you probably know of people who play that sort of clout LA, not just LA, but like clout VC LA, showy, kiss some babies sort of energy, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I understand the game. If I wanted to play it, right, like Forbes started on the 30, all these different sort of things, like that's part of the game. I just don't think that's the game that I want to play in or I care too much about to play in. If it happens to me, it happens to me, right? But I'm not someone who wants to run that race. And I think the energy of posting about, let's just say, Declassified raises $20 million for its Series B or whatever it may be. Like, again, the clout and energy and people that brings around you, I don't think is the energy that I want to bring around me.
What kind of energy do you think it draws?
For me, it draws out the vulture energy, I think, for lack of better words. Like, to your point, right, about like when you started sharing a little bit about design buddies, like people are always then asking you, even if it's like asking for a news article or whatever it may be, it's always an ask. It's always an ask. It's always an ask, right? Which I'm fine to give, right? I've built sort of my whole persona around like helping people out and things of that nature, which that's fine. But there's a different sort of asking from a authentic standpoint versus asking to just get a KPI, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of times the attention that you get, I'm not necessarily saying it's bad attention, but the type of attention that you get when you're releasing that PR article on raising money or whatever it may be, it's that sort of vulture energy. Now, if we did sell like declassified ever, I think I would put that out there. But if it was like just raising money or something like that and it wasn't like end game for me, I don't think I would want to put that out there.
Yeah, vulture energy, people like swooping in and like trying to extract value out of you. Blah, 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 blah. I get. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Like, I
yeah.
don't know how else to put into words, you know what I mean? But you feel it when those questions get asked, or at least I can.
Yeah, I certainly went through that too. Like when I talked about how much income we made. I felt a lot of that vulture energy. Like I was so proud of it. And that's why like really successful people, they're very quiet. Uh they are very humble and they're very quiet to deter that kind of vulture energy, I guess. Or they're just like fully secure with themselves so they don't feel the need to share. And I feel like I was like really proud of like making that much money because like for all my life I was like so focused on being a good student, being a good employee, and it felt like a kind of fuck you moment to these like past standards I used to uphold myself, and I felt like I trapped myself in a jail to try to fit these standards. And I shared how much income because I was really proud of just like saying fuck you to like just like my past like insecure, not past insecurity, but just like past self of just like keeping myself in jail kind of thing. Because I did really, I was in jail as a student, as deep as it sounds, and that was why I was doing that. But now I feel like I don't know. It's been 6 months since I did it. I'm just like I don't need to tell people anymore. I don't like keeping it down low. I don't. I feel like I've matured since, but I feel like it's good to go through that. Yeah. How would you feel if the classified ever got acquired or taken up by a PE firm?
I mean, I think it really just depends on what my mindset is at the time. Like, I think right now, right, if you came to me and you're like, Justin, here's $30 million for declassified, I'm out. I'll take the paycheck. We can run the PR firm. I'll take that vulture energy. Like, we're good, right? Um, I think where what it really comes down to, though, for someone like me is, again, I am in it for the money. Don't get me wrong. Do I love social media? Nah. But I understand how to use it and I understand how to make money from it, right? And I think for me, it's all about whatever I do is the lifestyle that I want to live. And I know the lifestyle that I want to live in the back of my head. It's all about how do I get there? And that route could be taking PE money, it could be taking VC money, it could be selling, it could be cash flowing it myself. Right? There's a bunch of different ways that you can get to the point in the road. It's just a matter of what gets me there in the way that I want to get there. And I think all of those are available. It's just depending on what the offer is at that time for whatever it is and what I want my
Mm.
lifestyle to live at that time too.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. Honestly, same.
Would
Here.
you sell or what would you sell design buddies? Like a number. What is
Hmm.
the lowest number right now that you feel like you likely wouldn't say no?
I don't know. Like, I just split it with all my co-founders. I don't know, 500 million. But what once I have a dream that Design Buddies got acquired by 2 billion. That'd be kind of cool. I feel like this. I'm like shooting astronomically high. But yeah, I feel like I don't know why I would
Is
need
there
more
is
than
there
like
any
30
logic
million
that you
though.
have behind that number?
Private jet, mansion.
Fair, but that's a lifestyle that you want, right? Like, I respect
I
that.
hate
You know what you
airports.
want.
I hate waiting in line. I'll pay for anything to like not having wait in line ever again. That's the thing I hate the most probably about life is like waiting in line.
Interesting. I don't
Yeah.
mind waiting in line. Um, I like the moments in between moments. That's my mindset. But I respect it. Again, I think
Oh,
it all comes down to like what do you want and then how do you get there? And I think most people don't care how you get there.
that is true. I like Loki also like want mansions in every big city in the world so I can live everywhere and like host big parties. I mean, that's what I'm doing in LA right now. We're like at the creator house. We've been hosting like 2 to 3 events every week and like rages every month. And it's like a nice event space. It's pretty big. And I'm like starting on that. I have 2 houses now. That's 7 now. So I'm gonna take over. I don't own any of the properties. But one day I will, so I can like do whatever I want with it. Um yeah, so just have many, many homes everywhere. And like it can use it to like gather people. Yeah, I need like 100 million or a bit more, probably more. Honestly, like some of these properties cost like $10 million, so I probably need like I don't know 500 million. So
So again,
yeah.
I think as long as you have logic to back up wherever you want to go, I think that's fine. I think most people though, the issue is they don't even know where their north star is. So there's no way to work their way towards there. And so I mean, I respect it. Your vision is different from mine. And I think again, that's why I wanted to start this podcast with you because like both from the creator lens, the business lens and everything, we differ so much but are similar in the same way too in
Mhm.
some facets. But yeah, that's crazy. Well, I think we'll both get there. It's just a matter of how.
Mhm.
Who knows?
Well,
That's
stay
the beauty of
tuned.
it
We'll
though.
we'll keep watching, subscribing, liking, subscribing, sharing with their friends because we'll be sharing along our learnings along the way and how you can achieve that dream too. Yeah. 'Cause I'm sure everyone like doesn't want to work for the man. But we have another topic we also want to talk about. We talk about PE. PE to Pokemon. Nostalgia. So I know you mentioned earlier,
I
I
love
like
it.
want to dive into more of your PE questions. I was like so curious, but you know, McDonald's they sell Happy Meals because they want to hook the kids when they're young, and then when they're adults, they can get hooked onto the regular meals. But um, I used to play this game called MapleStory, and it was really popular, especially amongst like Asian American kids and people in like Southeast Asia. This like MMORPG. These kids now like they got like millions of kids hooked on it, and now in like 2019 they launched MapleStory Mobile, and they have a shit ton of microtransactions, gambling mechanics, because they know these kids now have disposable income, and that game MapleStory Mobile is like way more pay to win, than the regular MapleStory. And I also like listen to. I know with the rise of like Y2K and all these like trends, there's this YouTuber I found. His name is Quinton Reviews. He makes 7 hour long videos. Some of his videos like 9 hours long, 36 hours long, deep dive about reviewing Nickelodeon shows. And I looked him up, and it seems like he's making about $3 million a year on nostalgia content. A lot of these come from AdSense, YouTube AdSense, as well as Patreon. There's about 7,000 people paying for his Patreon. He has like 5 different tiers, including a Discord community and more. But his YouTube channel, Quinton Reviews, I've seen his stuff around too. It's just like specifically very niche Nickelodeon culture. Have you watched Nickelodeon as a kid? And do you still watch it now?
I love like Nickelodeon growing up. Can't tell you the last time I've watched it, but I'm looking up Quinton reviews right now because I kind of want to see what he's been building.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch or do you watch it now or before? I guess.
I watched it a lot growing up. Like my dad was a SpongeBob fan. I watched like iCarly, Drake and Josh, um, Fairly Odd Parents. Like I'm looking at his popular videos. His popular videos like it's all like negative content actually. So his latest videos are about like Timmy Turner movie review, Nickelodeon Nicktoons, But his most popular videos are all like negative headlines. It's like the failure of Victorious, the end of Victorious. I binged iCarly, the end of iCarly, the scandal of Sam and Ket, the reign of Fred Figglehorn. We don't talk about Dan Schneider, the collapse of Sam and Cat. How SpongeBob predicted meme culture. So it's like this is like very specific like American kid childhood, but now these are all adults.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm looking like his upload rate is like a few times a year,
Mhm.
um, which is interesting. And he still has so many people on his Patreon, unless he's releasing videos on his Patreon. What is it? His Patreon.
His
Here, let me
Patreon?
share my screen.
Yeah.
Uh, how do I share my screen? Let's see. Share. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. He's got 7,000 members. You can join for free, but let's see. $1, name and credits, Discord access, personal reviews. And then VIP chat, personalized voice recording, the biggest fan. I think these are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I think every business should have an offering like this because you never know if someone's going to pay you for something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Let me see. I don't know why my screen stopped sharing. Can you see my screen again?
Yeah. Yeah. A
I
flight to your
think
house and do
I
all your
think
chores for
every
you.
business.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
like I think that is hilarious, right? But anyway, let's see. So 3 months, 1 year. Yeah, he only uploads a few times a year. I think what also helped him too is the whole Dan Schneider thing that I think started happening like 2 years ago, which
Mm.
brought Nickelodeon back into the sort of cultural zeitgeist of everything.
Mhm.
Actually, I have seen this thumbnail before. I remember this thumbnail. I've seen a few of these thumbnails. I haven't clicked on any of them.
Yeah, they're really, really long
Damn, he's making
videos. Like
3 million a year.
that's estimated from ChatGPT. That's estimated at like a $5 um like revenue per million views. But I feel like with long videos like that and they're like deep dives and I don't know his retention data, but I imagine how he could make a lot of money from ads. And he also like does shorts too.
Hmm. Is that where his in between videos are?
I think so. He makes
Let's see.
like short videos of like annoying orange merch review, Garfield, Shrek
Oh
toys.
yeah,
So it's
this
like
is like
kid culture,
10
yeah.
days ago.
Yeah.
The annoying orange. I remember the annoying
Oh
orange.
my god, me too. Garfield. I used to identify a lot as Garfield as a kid because I hated Mondays.
Okay, so he posts a lot on shorts. Okay,
Uh huh.
okay.
Skibbity
Skippy
toilet
toilet.
now. Oh my god. Skibbity toilet blind boxes. Oh my god. There's so many blind boxes now, like Labubu's. Do you want
Yep.
to see my
Yeah,
Labubu,
I
by
think
the way? About
we could
Labubu
do
and
a
blind
whole episode
boxes?
on Labubus.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
yeah, yeah. On how that's just gambling for kids. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think this like concept of nostalgia is fascinating. And what I was like kind of alluding a little bit earlier, right? Like the rise of the nerds. Where do you think this goes? Like how much distance does this have? Because like I mean, the nerds were the ones who got all the good jobs over the past 10, 15 years. And so they're the ones that have the disposable income to go to these things and buy these things and do these things. How far does this go?
When you were in school, was it like, if you're a nerd, are you like not popular? I'm just curious, like in Connecticut growing up.
Yeah, for sure. For
Like,
sure.
who
Like
are the
if you
popular
were
kids for you?
uh at my school, it was the basketball kids, football kids, because we were a big sports school. And then if you just had like the aura, I guess, right? Like if you were
Mm.
good looking. And then like if you were into anime back then, because again, anime wasn't cool, right? So if you were watching Naruto and stuff like that, you definitely weren't at the cool kids table, I would say. But now I feel like anime is part of pop culture, right? Like
Yeah.
so is K-pop and everything like that. So maybe times have changed. I don't know. I don't know what the lunch table situation is in most high schools nowadays. I'd be curious.
Allegedly, they're like saying Italian brain rot stuff. Maybe these are middle schoolers actually. But yeah, when I was a kid, this is very different. But if you did good grades and you're smart, then you're popular. Like if you get like, cause like our school used to publish everyone's like GPAs. I forget the top.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Miller Middle School.
I guess that's a difference of SF versus like my small little town that I grew up in, or Cupertino.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. You're popular if you wore like trendy clothes, if you're like fashionable and had some kind of like sense of pop culture. If your new pop culture is, I think if you're like culturally aware, and I was none of them, so I was just a little outcast. Yeah. But I think what changed how people became more accepting of nerds is I feel like COVID really gave a rise of more niche communities. Like people were forced out of in-person stuff. So a lot of Discord servers boomed, a lot of Slack communities boomed, and people started to like with the internet start to find their own tribe. Because I think social media wasn't that big when we were in school, like 2010s. Well, it was big, but not the groups. Like I feel like it's more like one directional. Like there was like not that many Facebook groups that are really active, not really community. Not Discord was not around. Discord started in 2015. I think it really got popular in 2020. So Discord was not around 2010s. I think Discord there's some like niche communities there. People could like find themselves. It's like different than like a one directional platform like Tumblr where you follow people because I know Tumblr is a lot of niche communities. Instagram there's like a niche pages, but I think Discord is where people got to interact with each other more. So people became more accepting of everybody, and like really finding people that are similar to them, that are nerdy like them, and they're cool like them too, but they're also closeted nerds. So people started to find their tribe, and I think that's how it became cool. And also, I feel like people, and especially Americans, they became more vocal after how the whole Black Lives Matter thing happened in 2020, and just like vocal and expressing their political opinions and their opinions in general. So they became more like owning their interests. Um, and and I just feel like overall society became normal to like celebrate everyone's differences, instead of trying to conform with the norm. Just like how like I think a lot of people say Hollywood is like on its way down a little bit because it's like no more mainstream. It's like hard to have mainstream culture because everyone's so like unique in their own low interest cultures. So I think COVID and like how people became more woke made people feel like it's okay to have these like be different and stuff. How about you?
That's interesting. I mean, I do think staying at home and like being locked down and stuff like that definitely impacted it or played a role. I also just think there's a lot of money that the nerds have been able to accumulate over the past 10, 15 years. And now that they have this quote unquote adult money, they can spend it on whatever they want. And what they want to be spending on is this nostalgic stuff of Pokemon cards, um, even MapleStory, probably merch and things of that nature, right? If you go and look at Uniqlo's collaborations, a lot of it is nostalgic stuff of things that came out when we were younger, right? Whether it's Naruto or even One Piece. I know One Piece is still releasing now, but like One Piece has been going on for like 10, 15 years plus, right? Like, I think, yes, lockdown helped. I also think, specifically for our demographic, Asian culture breaking into mainstream helped a ton. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what that catalyst was, but there was something that happened that allowed K-pop to break in. And once K-pop broke in, then Japanese culture broke in, I feel like. And then I think right now, like Vietnamese food is starting to break into that culture a little bit. And like Filipinos and both their food and their like dancing culture have broken as well. I think K-pop was that catalyst. Couldn't tell you if it was just BTS or whatever that was able to break it into the US market, but I think that as well has allowed a lot of nerd culture to
Mm.
explode, because I think a lot of nerd culture, again, this might just be us being biased because we're both Asian, we grew up in Asian households, but it does seem like a lot of nerd culture comes from Asian adjacent things.
Yeah, I agree. I think South Korea was dumping a lot of money into their culture and spreading it worldwide too. So their government did it on purpose.
It's crazy how that works. Literally like pay to play, but and like world domination route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder like what's I feel like Chinese culture is starting to become a little bit more trendy too. Because I've seen some TikTok trending sounds where it's like Chinese pop, but I feel like it's not as sexy as K-pop right now, especially with an American lens of view. But China's so
Well, I
big.
think
I
the
wonder. Yeah.
issue, yeah, I mean, I think the
Mhm.
issue of China, right, is just the politics of everything.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think it would ever be allowed to go mainstream, at least right now, just because of the potential political ramifications of like US citizens becoming super pro China or something like that. Or like viewing China as just being cool or whatever. Right. Um, which could be like an ultimate like 4D chess move, right? From the China standpoint of things. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think it would be really hard for China to become cool in Americans' eyes.
Yeah, that's true. Cause like I feel like growing up, everyone like looks up to like Korean culture, Japanese culture, but not Chinese culture, and it makes sense. I think it's done on purpose. And there's like way more people in China, and I'm sure they're more influential. But I also feel like the government in general, like the CCP, like it's like communist country. Everything happens in China. It's like kind of closed off from the rest of the world. Like they even have their own social media. They have their own Baidu, the Google search, their Xiaohongshu, their own thing. So it's like really like they can't really communicate with the rest of the world too. So yeah, I don't know. I think China's cool, but at the same time, like I am not from China, but my ancestry like 3 generations ago are, and I speak Chinese, so it'd be cool to have it mainstream.
I mean, I think it is like from my perspective, because again, I think Vietnamese culture has started to slowly have its rise into like American culture a little bit. And it's been cool to see people not get made fun of like eating nuoc mam, which is just fish sauce, or like pho and stuff like that. I think it's really dope that those are becoming more and more a part of American culture. But I would say too, Chinese culture and Vietnamese culture, and Vietnamese people will hate me when I say this, are like very similar in the way of like both communist countries, both do a lot of stuff with the US, both from an export import standpoint. But Vietnam has a lot less people and China has a lot more people. And so like why has Chinese culture not necessarily taken over in the US, even though they have massively more amount of people and money compared to like a country like Vietnam, which you could say is arguably comparable because of political stuff and things of that nature. We're not like Vietnamese isn't necessarily an enemy of the US. And I think that specifically is the reason why Viet culture can or would be allowed to spread versus Chinese culture is like, again, you can't you can't start having Chinese culture be super cool in the US when that's like the enemy, quote unquote. But that's like
Yeah.
politics, like global political things, which I have no idea. I'm just yapping at this point. But that's my perspective on it because I think Vietnam and China are comparable up until the point
Mhm.
where we're like viewed as an enemy.
Yeah, I agree. Like a lot of I've seen a lot of Chinese food when I went to Vietnam. There's a lot of Chinese food too. Interesting.
Yeah, because we were. I mean, a lot of there's a lot of stuff that Vietnamese people have taken from Chinese people.
Mhm.
Um, I think like a lot of the northern Vietnamese, like super North Vietnamese, are like descendants of Chinese, or like there's a lot of Chinese blood mixed
Yeah.
in with those people. So I love Vietnam going back. I would love to go back.
Yeah, I love Vietnam too. Also like Thailand. There's also like lots of Chinese people in Thailand too. And I feel like I've seen a lot of Chinese influences in Thailand as well. But still like very different. It's like Southeast Asian but also Chinese at the same time. But I feel like China is so big that there's not really any like culture that, well, there's like similar culture. I never really been to mainland China, so I can't really speak for it. But I have friends who visited. It's like huge. There's so many different cultures that go along in it. It's like hard to generalize. So just like American culture, America's huge too. But what would you describe as American culture?
I don't know. Like I think our culture is that we don't have culture, which I think is a blessing and a curse,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like I think for me, again, I think we both had very different upbringings in terms of the cities and towns that we grew up in. But like for me, going back to Japan for the first time, even though like I'm not Japanese, but I went to Japan as the first ever Asian country that I'd gone to, was like a complete shock of me being the majority, me being like seeing other Asian people and like really only Asian people, right, in Japan. And that was like really different for me because I'd always grown up and been in places where not am I only the minority, but I'm like the only Asian person in that room, right? And so that was a big difference for me. Um, I think I forgot where I was going with this. What was the question?
How would you describe American culture?
Yeah, so I think the like American culture piece to that is because there's so many different pockets within the US, and not even just from a broad like race standpoint, right? Like you've got a bunch of like white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, etc. But even if you break out those demographics, there's so much more within them, right? Like I didn't realize that like the third biggest language in, I believe it's like Louisiana and Oklahoma, is Vietnamese,
Oh.
which to me was
Mhm.
crazy, right? Like I would have thought it would be some other language, right? But it was like I
Mhm.
saw some chart, whether it's real or not. I don't know, but apparently like Vietnamese is like the third biggest language, and then you look into it, and there's a lot of Vietnamese people that live in Louisiana as well as Oklahoma because when they came over from Vietnam, that's where they were like basically placed, which is really cool. And then the Hispanic community, right? Like yes, you got a lot of Mexicans, but like I've got a lot of Puerto Ricans that are friends. I've got a lot of Ecuadorians who are friends, like El Salvadorian and things of that nature, where all of those, yes, are all Hispanic, but they bring a different piece of that culture into the US as well. And I think the US culture for me, yes, you could argue maybe it's Southern culture is like the US culture, or maybe it's baseball or football or whatever you want to call it. But for me, I think we haven't leaned into it, but the beauty of the US is that you can find your pocket of your culture if you look hard enough, which
Mm.
I think is very hard in other countries.
Yeah, I love that. I can see that. That's true. Because like initially I was thinking about like hamburgers and fries, but I think hamburgers are from Germany, not the U.S. Hot dogs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Football. Yeah, but I feel like hamburgers and fries are not really big here in LA. And I feel like the same for LA. There's like so big. There's like Thai town. There's like Ethiopia. There's Japantown. There's two Japantowns. Koreatown. Skid Row. Its own culture too. Um, I went to Skid Row yesterday, so I just like want to go to Skid Row. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It's a little tense. I heard Skid Row is like the most
I don't think
homeless
I'd
place
ever
in the
been.
world. It's it's very interesting. I just like stared at everyone. When they looked at me, I looked away. I just like people watched. It
Yeah,
was
Grace
enlightening.
Grace adventures that I would not join. Uh
Yeah. No, I stayed in the car. I stayed in the car. Like my friends were like, too scared to go out Skid Row. I'm kind of scared too. But they look harmless, at least the
fair.
ones I saw. We only went on like a couple streets, so I was like, I just want to. I tell everyone like, yeah. They were like, "What'd you do yesterday?" I'm like, I went to Skid Row. It's like I don't know. There's a band
Bold
called Skid
choice, bold
Row.
choice.
There's a band called Skid Row, but they're from New Jersey, so I don't know. Anyways, tangent. But yeah,
There
I
was
like how
we
America.
had our
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Sure. No, I'm just saying, like, I do like relate to how in America there's like so many different cultures you can like find your tribe. Um, I think those who feel like they feel left out need to look harder uh for their tribe. And I feel like when it comes to Singapore, everyone's like the biggest complaint I hear from my local friends in Singapore is like kind of monoculture. Like everyone just kind of has to conform. And I definitely see that vibe in like Vietnam and like Korea, Japan, like just like Korea, how all these girls and guys too are like getting plastic surgery to look the same as everyone. It's like really sad. So I guess it's like a good thing that America has so many like things in the world where you can find yourselves in. That's why I love America. I know it's like I feel people like
Yeah,
hate me for that because of the current political climate, but America is cool.
look, I think we have our issues, right? But at the end of the day, I think it's still a great place to be raised, be born in. There's a lot worse out there, I would say,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And like again, for me, it is that ability to just if you look hard enough, there's probably a subset of whatever culture that you want to be a part of. Which again, it's very hard to find that in I would say most other countries. And
Mhm.
the US is very unique in that aspect, which again, I love, I appreciate it. And everything like that, but yeah, talk about PE, we talked about Pokemon, and nostalgia. Anything else that you want to talk about?
Hmm. Where do you see like the world evolving into? Do you think with the internet and like how people are kind of selling differences, do you think eventually we'll all be a monoculture? Or do you think people will still have their own unique differences around the world too? Or just like what do you think the world would be more like I don't think everyone would be in monoculture just because like these communities are on the rise, but do you feel like there will be a time where everyone in the world this is kind of like a deep question, but like a time where everyone in the world would just like celebrate everyone's like differences and just like not fight and just be chill? Or do you think we're still
I
like thousands of
wish.
years away
I
from
don't
that?
think so. I wish, right? Like that I think that's the dream, right? But
Mhm.
I was talking to a friend earlier today. He's talking about like equality and things like that. Um very random conversation that we were having. But I was like, I think everybody wants or says that they want equality, but at the end of the day, I think all of our human instincts kick in where again, you have to remember what like 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, like we're fighting for our lives on a regular basis. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think those instincts will always kick in where, again, yes, equality is important and things of that nature, but you want and you likely want, or there will always be someone that likely wants to win at the game of life.
Mhm.
Previously, that was kings and queens. I think currently, right now, it's billionaires, right? And I think
Mm.
there will always be that nature, whether it's you, whether it's me, but there will be someone out there that will always want to quote unquote win at the game of life. And their thought process of winning can take various different routes just depending on who that person is and if they get into power. But yeah, that's my perspective. What about you?
Maybe it would be creators because they have the most influence on how people think. Just because you have money doesn't mean you
I
have
think that'll
influence.
become important.
Yeah,
Yes,
distribution.
I agree.
Distribution, guys. Distribution and influence. Yeah. That's
I
what I
think it'll
think.
be I think it'll be funny. I think it'll be not funny, but interesting, I guess. Whenever the first like creator, influencer or whatever runs for a very important like role within government.
Oh yeah, just because like Elon Musk, he's not an American citizen, so he couldn't do president stuff. but I think Trump,
Yeah, right.
he
But
was like a
like,
TV
I
person.
mean, you could argue Trump is a creator or
Mm-hmm.
an influencer, right? Because he kind of made his claim to fame by with TV. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking like our generation creator influencer, right? Like a Logan
Mr.
Paul, a
Beast.
Mr. Beast, or yeah, someone like
I think
that.
Mr. Beast will.
Like I know that there are stories. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go, right? But like, because you can't necessarily buy votes, so he can't go around being like, last person to stay in this box gets a gajillion dollars or whatever, right? If you vote for me, you could get a chance to win $1 billion. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fascinating to see when that person runs, and I think in the next, because you have to be what, 35 to run.
Oh
I
yeah, you
think
had to be 30, an American
if my
citizen.
civics class,
I think
right?
so.
I
Mm-hmm.
think so. I think in the next 10 to 15 years, I think you see someone make a like credible run for it.
Yeah. And I'm sure like a lot of people who grew up watching these YouTubers, following their journey, developing that deep parasocial relationship with them, would vote for the creator. So I can see a creator becoming a president one day. That's my prediction. We'll see like 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah, I wonder. I really wonder how that goes. I've got no idea, but it will be interesting whenever that does take place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, creators taking over the world. That's my prediction. We'll see. We'll see. We'll report back in like 20 years.
You think creators take over the world before AI takes over the world?
Low key, yeah. I think people. I don't think AI is really mainstream around the world yet. Only in like big cities in America. I think there's a lot of people who like watch YouTube and like watch creators more than they do AI. But at the same time, I can see AI taking over the world too because AI can become so smart that so real that then lay people can't even tell. So maybe I don't know. My positive prediction is like a human takes over the world, not an AI. Maybe the singularity will occur and we're all fucked. Who knows? Who knows? But meanwhile, enjoy life while you can and have fun.
Enjoy life. Subscribe to the pod for the random tangents, and then we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.